guys, let's get into this corset that we're about to make. You will need scissors, pins. You'll also need fishing line for sewing. I'll tell you why. And you'll need a ruler for measurements. If you have a leather skirt, you'll need that for access fabric and the zipper. And you'll need some old lace up boots you don't wear anymore. Alright, so right here I unzipped the boots, and I pretty much was trying to figure out which side or part of the boot I wanted to use for this corset. I came to the realization that I wanted to use the other side of the boot, which is like the outer layer of the boot, the outside, because it actually had already gave the shape of a corset when you open it. See? Voila. Alright, so once I figured that out, you will need to measure from the bottom of your boots to maybe like the end of your belly button, or how long in length you want your corset to be when you put it on, and pretty much take those inches from the measurements you took in length. And once you take the ruler and put it up against the boot, you'll be able to match up the prongs with how many inches you recorded for your length that you want your corset to be. You will definitely need like a white marker or something to mark it, unless you got some other way that you would like to do it. But I use a white coloring pencil to mark where I wanted to cut across for my corset, and I pretty much marked it in between the prongs of the laces. I don't know if that's what that's called, but y'all know what I'm talking about, right where I'm marking it at now. But I do that because you want a nice clear clean cut, and you want to know where you're cutting, because you don't want anything to come up uneven when it comes to your corset. You want it to be nicely even proportioned, so when you put it on, it looks neat and tight. Alright, so now I'm going to do that to the other boot. It's a simple process, you guys. This is so easy, I promise you. So what I did was count the prongs. I guess I got sidetracked, so I went back and counted it again. And and what I did was went over to the other boot and counted the same amount of prongs. That way I could mark it in between the prongs to match up with the other boot, so that I get a nice even corset. But what you want to do is, once you mark it on the other boot the same way you marked it on the first boot, you just want to lay them side by side close up, so you can make sure that they're marked right in the same space, so that way when you cut across, it's a clean cut. Like I said, a straight, clear, clean cut. Alright, so now you're going to get into unlacing your boots, because we're going to use those same laces to lace up our corset. But not only that, we can't cut the boot until we unlace the boot. So now once we have our unlaced boot, we can now begin cutting where we've marked our white line at. Alright, so you want to make sure you get a nice even cut straight across, just that simple. Don't make it hard. I decided to cut it while it was folded a little, just to mark on both sides with the cut, and then I went ahead and opened it and finished my cut off from one end to another, and I tried to get it as straight as I possibly could. I think I did pretty decent. That's decent. And after that, you just do the same thing to the other boot so that it matches up, just so we can get the process going and rolling. I promise you guys, this is going to come out so amazing. I would not lie to you guys. So make sure you pull out your old dusty, rusty, thigh-high, knee-high boots and just try this DIY out. You'll save a lot of money on a corset doing this than buying like a $40, $50 corset from like Fashion Nova or Pretty Little Thing somewhere, and they don't even be of the best quality. They don't even be that cute. They don't even really be corsets. They be made out of like cheap fabric. But hey, at least we can do our own DIYs at home. Save money. Let's revamp, ladies. Revamp, save your money. Save your pockets. Save our pockets 2020. We saving our money all 2020. Well, at least I'm trying. It's hard not to shop. Alright, I'm falling off topic. Anyway, there it is. I got both of my sides to my corset. I decided to go ahead and lace it first. That way it'll make it easier once I add the excess fabric. So you want to make sure that your lace is even. Just flat out even. I'm quite sure you guys know how to lace up a corset or anything of this sort. Alright, so now we're moving on, and we're going to use this zipper from the skirt to add to our corset, and we're going to use this middle part of the skirt to add to our corset, pretty much where I just cut the little belt loops off. We're going to cut straight down, but you want to make sure you don't cut the zipper out of your skirt. Don't cut the end of the zipper. Make sure you cut a little past the zipper part of the skirt. So I wanted to make sure, so I unzipped it, that way I know where to cut across it. making sure I'm not cutting the end of the zipper completely. I don't want to mess it up. Right, it doesn't have to be perfect because you're going to sew it on anyway. But there it is. And this is pretty much the concept of it. You're just going to attach it to it, sew it on, and just give it a little zipper extra support, because sometimes you might not want to undo the lace, and depending on how small your waist is and your hips are, it should be easy to get into your corset. But if you have wide hips, yeah, you might want to do a zipper that you can completely unzip. Or you can just unlace your corset. Doesn't matter. Whatever works for you. Whatever floats your boat. You don't got to do it exactly how I do mine. You can do it your own way. But here's the simple part. We're just pinning it on so that way we can sew it. I unzipped it just so I can get an idea, of how even and proportionate it will be. And I pinned the other side just the same as I did on the first side. Yeah, it's like I told y'all, this is easy. I hope it don't look hard. I did not want to make this hard, but it's pretty easy. Alright, now moving on to that fishing line I had told y'all about. Y'all, I be using fishing line to sew because it's very sturdy and it's good for like fabrics that are tough and they don't rip easily. And I feel like this leather fabric does not rip easily at all. Alright, and that is your final outcome once you sew both sides. It looks pretty good. It looks pretty neat. I think it looks nice. I think it looks pretty decent. It's better than spending $50 on a corset online, or more than that, because I did it myself and I did it to my liking. Like I told you guys, the lace on it is pretty long, but I made it work. And this is how it looks with the shirt I plan on wearing with it on my dress form.